Hi. So I'm going to cover the company law amendments in a really short time, and I'm going to cover all the major amendments which can come in your exams. This amendment sheet I have put in the WhatsApp and the Telegram group. Link is in the description. You can go and get it there. So let's start. First is about the physical verification. So when the incorporation is being done, ROC is now allowed to do a physical verification. When they go for the physical verification, they will carry all the incorporation documents that you have filed in MCA portal, that with the document that you've carried. They will do a physical verification. They will take a photograph of the registered office, and they can also carry witnesses along with them, because we know that sometimes there are scams where the registered office doesn't exist only. So here there's going to be a physical verification. Another important amendment for your incorporation related is the form Agile. Now from Agile we have the Agile Pro S. Looks like a mobile phone model, but still from Agile Pro we went now Agile Pro S. So in form Agile you used to get the incorporation, you used to get all the you could apply for a provident fund, employee state insurance. Now with the Pro S you can also apply for the shops and establishment license under the Agile Pro S. Then comes an amendment with the rectification of name, not done. ROC will then rectify and put your own name, and the name shall be ORDNC plus your SIN number will be added. The company will have this as the new number. Now what is it there? So under section 16 subsection 1, if a company's name is similar or identical to another company, the central government will order that company to change the name, and if the name is not changed within 3 months, earlier the limit was 6 months, if the central government have given the order to change the name and it's not changed within 3 months, then the ROC will proceed to if within 3 months from the date of direction you have not changed the name, fails to change the name, then the letters ORDNC, that is order of regional director not complied, shall be added, and the SIN number shall be the new name of the company. A new fresh incorporation certificate will be issued in INC 11, and that will be the new name. The company will then, to remove this name, will have to take amend their name clause, take a special resolution, okay, if they don't change it. Now remember one more thing, for rectification of name you require a ordinary resolution. Okay, for rectification of name you require a ordinary resolution, so you can change it through a ordinary resolution. But if ROC puts this as your name, then you will have to amend the name clause, take central government approval, okay, following that. Now coming to the small company, section 2 subsection 85, very simple. The paid up capital of the company is 4 crores and the turnover is up to 40 crores. Shouldn't exceed this limit. It should not be a public company, should not be a holding, should not be a subsidiary, should not be a section 8 company, should not be a body corporate governed by a special act. Then only it can be called as a small company. The next important amendment is, now what is happening is with territories touching the countries touching the land border, which with India shares the border, land border. For example, China. For example, Pakistan. For example, Afghanistan. So here we share the land borders. Okay, Nepal. We share the land border. So whenever now the Ministry of Home Affairs feels that there is a security threat from countries sharing the land borders, and they have asked to take a specific approval if we are dealing whether issuing shares to a body corporate okay, who is incorporated or is from the country sharing the national borders, or you want to appoint someone who is a director of the company, Okay, and he has to first certify whether he is sharing the national borders. If he is, then there requires a security clearance from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, so then comes inspection of register of privacy has been ensured. Now what happened is, we know register of members are open for inspection, but when you go to inspect the register of members, you will see the name, but the other details are also captured, that is the address, email ID, UIN number, PAN number, the phone number, all of that is available. So they are saying that these sensitive details and private details should not be allowed in a register of members, only the name can be allowed. Okay, so this is what they've given, very simple. Then comes with respect to DPT3 annual return for deposit return when they have to file. So we know that a deposit return has to be filed within 3 months from the end of the financial year, stating the deposits. Now they are saying it should be signed by the auditor, and it should give a declaration that accounts have been audited, and DPT3 has to be filed. So when we are filing DPT3, the deposit return, it has to go along with the auditor's declaration that the accounts have been duly audited. Next, now we know that you heard of repo rate, reverse repo rate. Yes or no? Repo rate is when the RBI grants loans to banks against when they take securities of government securities from these banks. So what happens is, let's understand. RBI is, so I'm explaining repo rate. This is specifically for transaction between RBI and a bank. So when RBI grants a loan, the banks in repo rate have to provide some kind of security. So when this is there, now bank has created a security, obviously by default charges provisions would have applied, because a charge has been created on the bank's assets, movable, immovable. However, for these kinds of transaction, a specific exemption has been given, that they do not have to comply with section 71, the charges provisions. Very simple. The next important amendment is with respect to charges form filed by resolution professional. Now when a company goes into insolvency and a resolution professional is appointed, obviously the directors lose all the powers and all the control come in the hands of IRP or the IP. So then all the forms of CHG, CHG1 and all the CHG forms whichever are there will be obviously not signed by the directors, will be signed by the insolvency professional who, or the liquidator who is actually in control of the company, and it should be filed with the registrar. So the sign of the insolvency professional on all these documents when a IRP or liquidator is appointed is important. Okay, since they are in control of the company. Then comes as a SBO declaration not made, shares and dividend will be frozen and cannot be claimed back. First of all, what is, now this I feel can come in your exams. Okay, very important. SBO concept itself is important. Significant beneficial owner. Sir, what is significant beneficial owner? Very simple. So if you read section 89, it talks about beneficial, it talks about a person who is registered as the owner but does not have beneficial interest. He has to inform the company, okay, that listen, my name is kept MGT4. Okay, he will put up and he will tell the company that my name is registered but I don't have beneficial interest. The beneficial owner who has beneficial interest but his name is not registered, he will also inform in MGT5 to the company. The company, once they get the declaration, then they will inform the ROC in MGT6. They will inform that listen, we have this kind of a transaction of beneficial ownership. Now this is called as beneficial ownership, where you must have paid the money but the name is someone else's. Now it can be there because the party must be abroad, he must have put in the brother's names, wife name, etc. So all of that needs to be declared. But now this is beneficial owner. Section 90 talks about significant beneficial owner. Okay, if a person is a significant that is a major beneficial owner, then he has to make a declaration in Ben 1 that listen, I am a significant beneficial owner. I have more than 10% shares or voting rights or receive more than 10% dividend. 10% is the figure. Remember this. How do you define significant? You have 10% or more. In the act it is written 25%, but such other figure as may be prescribed. So they have prescribed 10%. 10% of three things: shares, voting rights and dividend. Ben 1 will be the declaration. Ben 2, in Ben 2, the company will inform ROC that listen, we have this declaration made, return will be filed by the company. In Ben 3, a register will be maintained. Register will be maintained in Ben 3. And in Ben 4, when a declaration is not made, but the company feels that there is a person who is a significant beneficial and is not making, is hiding. So the company will issue the notice to SBO. Clear? Significant beneficial owner, that's it. So now what happens if there is a person and on whom company issued a SBO who didn't make the declaration, who didn't make this Ben 1 file, who didn't file Ben 1. So in that case, then his shares will get frozen, will be transferred to the IPF authority. His shares will also be transferred, all his dividend will also be transferred, and he cannot claim back. This is what is given in your rule 6A as well. Okay, rule 6A, which is newly added, that he cannot claim it back. Company secretary will only execute the transfer that listen, he was the SBO, we are transferring in the dividend authority's name. All the voting rights, obviously when you lost the shares, voting rights are also frozen, and the company will have to inform that listen, they have to file IPF 4 within 30 days of making the transfer. So moment they make the transfer, company secretary makes the transfer, he'll file IPF 4. What is IPF 4? For beneficial owners shares when we are transferring, at that time, one time we'll have to file IPF 4. However, IPF 2 is a annual, and this is also very, very important. Annually, moment the AGM is held, within 60 days after the AGM, we will file IPF 2 of all the unpaid dividend account, unclaimed dividend amounts, along with the investor wise details that this investor this much amount, this investor this much dividend left. Okay, this will be given. Then comes IPF 5. If someone who didn't claim for 7 years suddenly gets up, comes to know that his amount is there, okay, so he can file IPF 5 and get a refund claim from them. However, remember, special significant beneficial owner under section 90, specifically 90 subsection 9, if their shares have been transferred due to non-declaration, they will never get their shares back. For all other persons who couldn't claim the dividend, they can file IPF file. So this is to claim back from IPF, okay, authority. Then again, very simple amendment with regarding to CSR, that the Har Ghar Tiranga amount is counted as CSR expenditure. Impact assessment also very important part. A cost of social impact assessment. When impact assessment companies have to do, they will have to engage a independent agency to study that, to do an impact assessment on, to see whether the project was successful, whether the social success was there when we did our spending. So that expenditure, when we hire that agency, cannot be greater than 2% of all CSR expenditure or 50 lakh rupees, whichever is higher. Then comes as per the accounts, small and medium sized company. Okay, for accounts purpose, Accounting Standard Rules 2021, they define what is small and medium enterprise sized company. For these companies, small and medium sized company, certain exemptions and relaxations will be given. So what is the definition? Very simple. It is not a bank. It is not a listed company. Okay. It does not have exceeds 250 crore rupees turnover, does not have borrowings exceeding 50 crores, and is not a holding subsidiary of any company. So then it can be called as a small size company. So not holding subsidiary, not listed, not a bank, a turnover of max 250 crores and borrowing of max 50 crores. Then again, for independent directors appointment, normally we know special resolution is passed. Special resolution is passed, independent director is reappointed. However, in regulation number 25 to subclause A, they have added that even if the special resolution is failed, but if this condition is fulfilled, then it will be said that it is passed, that he has been deemed to be appointed. Now, what are the conditions? Very simple. That normally for special resolution, we require votes casted in favor should be 3 times. Okay, should be 3 times the votes casted against. Yes or no? So if this couldn't met, if this couldn't be done, but if the votes, but its votes casted in favor were greater than votes casted against, that means the special resolution was passed or ordinary resolution was passed. 51% was there because votes casted in favor were here we are talking of deemed appointment of ID. Votes casted in favor were greater than votes casted against, plus and the public shareholders, votes casted by public shareholders, that is excluding the promoter group. So promoter and public, so promoter group when you exclude, and the votes casted by the public shareholders are greater than the votes casted against in favor. So that means a full-fledged ordinary resolution is passed, won by everyone including the promoter group, and then when we see only the public shareholders, between them also it is passed. So we can say, okay, fine, independent director is appointed. Okay, so this is also an important amendment. Next is Nidhi rules. In Nidhi companies, they have changed. Nidhi company can only be a public company. It should have a paid up equity capital of 10 lakh rupees. Normally earlier it was given 5 lakhs. Next is net owned fund should be at least shall be not less than 10 lakh rupees. 20 lakh rupees, sorry. Net owned fund shall not be less than 20 lakh rupees. Earlier the limit was 10 lakhs. Silver can be taken as an when a member is coming to take a loan, he will take a loan and he can keep silver as security to avail the loan. And next is dividend shall not exceed 25%. So whenever Nidhi company is declaring dividend, it cannot give a dividend exceeding 25%. Earlier the limit was 20%. In form Philip, okay, that is for LLPs. You can also apply for PAN card. So you will apply for PAN card in Philip form only. The MCA will then further forward the Form 49 to the Income Tax Authority. Form 49A was for applying for PAN card, which will be inbuilt in the Philip form. Then came a concept called as small LLP. Now, as we have small company, now the Amendment Act has also introduced something called as small LLP, which means the contribution is less than 25 lakhs and the turnover is not exceeding 40 lakhs. It will be said to be a small LLP. And that is it. I am done with all the amendments. Thank you so much. You will get these amendment sheet in my WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Go ahead and join it. Share this video with your friends as well. Thank you.